Hello. Hello. I guess we're live. And I guess I'm gonna get right into it by getting our first submission. From the lad to Narc. And yeah. ID. See, that's how you know. That's how you know he knows what's up when he names it ID. Because it is an ID. 5 hours ago, let's go. First, hello. Making sure the volume is right. Okay. And let me run it back so I get a good listen. Cool intro. Sounds a bit mono. I think it could be wider. Just detuned chorus type of stuff. Cool laugh. This ARP that comes in doesn't quite sound in the same key. I like the progression it's doing though. I like how you have the filter sweeping up, building up. Yeah, I like how it's building up in the sense it's building nicely. Except if you hear right there, it sounds like it just clips. Which, like, a bit of clipping is okay, I would say, in the drop or whatever. But, definitely not in the intro, you know, and for a short moment, it just shows it's kind of trying to, you know. Oh, my audio is echoing. Who did this? Wait. Hello, hello. It shouldn't be echoing, I don't think. I don't think there's anything that would make it want to echo. It was you? Okay. Thank you for letting me know, though. I heard a bit of clipping there, too.
You should do this. You know the thing. Come on. Rob, just do it.
Another thing is, you probably want the drop to be the loudest part, right? But, I mean, from what I can hear, and also just from what I can see with the waveform, even though it's not super reliable, it seems like the build-up is louder. You know, it might even be worth straight up automating the utility on the, you know, or you're in FL Studio, I think, so. Just some type of volume automation right before the drop, so it gets quieter before it gets louder. You know, you want to make sure that drop is as loud as most present part. I feel like your drums could be just a pinch louder, right? And also, I think in your arrangement, you could really benefit from some like heavier mid kind of basses, you know, because you hear that a lot in like tear out type stuff, which is, I believe, this. You know, you got the screechy stuff on lock, and I hear a little bit, but I think I'd really use like some really fat mid type of stuff. That's where a lot of that like impact comes from. That people use. Also, I would watch the frequencies, right? Especially on the second half of the drop. It sounds like there's some sounds like there's some super harsh kind of frequencies going on, which can hurt the listener's ears if it's at a high volume, right? Yeah. So you might want to just increase them a bit with the EQ. Your fills. Another thing is, I think your like tone could vary a bit more, right? Rather than adding a new layer that doesn't kind of add much besides just like more high-end kind of screech. You could probably you know, just change the tone of your main bass as well. And I think your flows could be a bit more interesting because right now, I mean, I don't blame you because in tear out, it's super common and it works to have just kind of like eighth notes, quarter notes, half notes, right? But if you have them switching up, you know, like think of like banantan, you know, triplets, just switching up quicker, you know, to create some flow and interest. Transitions out fine. Cool melody here. Another thing, I feel like kind of in your intro and break, there's not a whole lot of clarity. I feel like you have kind of a lot of like whatever noise sample that is. And like, yes, it's filling up space, but I feel like it might be a bit too loud. It doesn't have a whole lot of musical content within that sound. You hear what I mean? It's kind of that like hum. I would like to hear it come up in volume during the build-up, right? But I think earlier, just for the sake of clarity, saving that tension, probably. I think you could have a bigger kind of impact on the out of this drop. I feel like. And I think part of that is well, an impact sample, right? But also the drums. I think the kick isn't slapping how it could be. I think it'd have a bit of transient shaping and overall just loudness in the kick. Fucking, to say the least. Like I enjoy this like flow better, you know, because I think it's just more interesting than kind of quarter notes or. And in addition to that, I think the second drop, the sound design is also more interesting. Well, maybe not more interesting. I like the previous sound design, but I think those mids are super important. Same thing kind of applies to this drop. I would like to hear more like timbral kind of variations, you know, because it's the same bass throughout the drop, which is cool. you know, but I would like to hear at least like halfway through, you know, like tweaking some parameters, getting a different tone out of it, which also just sounds super squashed, like mastering or compression Just be careful with that. And again, I think the drums, maybe it's just the samples and a bit of the loudness. And maybe, like, this works fine as an outro, but perhaps you can have a bit of like an instrumental outro for like a bit longer mix out section. Yeah, stompy sub 808 thing. Another thing is this whole second drop is, well, you can see it in the waveform, right? And you could hear it. It's louder than the first, which, I mean, that, all right, like that's something. But I think you would want max loudness out of both your drops, and definitely have them be certain they're louder than the build up. You know, the easy fix is just to volume automate it, so you get that. But yeah, that's Snark. Give him a follow if you fuck with the heavy tear out type of beat. Really hard to mix with that outro coming off a massive drop. Yeah, that's why I would recommend like some type of little instrumental bit for sure. Double it if you're feeling crazy. By all means, double it. Yeah. Anyway, up next, the boy Cy Wonk, right? With the screechy cube. Okay. What's good? Hello, Kitty Cartel. Haven't seen you in a minute. Oh. One thing right away, I'm hearing it kind of click. And yeah. You hear that kind of click at the beginning. I would have a kind of a slight attack with the volume, you know, or some kind of fade like thing, so you don't have that click. I like those little sound effects you got building up. I feel like there could be more tension or like another little thing coming up here. That's it. Also be careful with sidechain when you're doing build-ups, you know. I guess this applies to everyone, you know. You don't want the sidechain ducking a stupid amount when your kicks are really going crazy. A lot of times you just want to turn it off or have a smaller sidechain. Also, I think there's a bit too short of a break between this and your drop. You know, I think typically like pre-drop would be slightly longer so you can feel that tension a bit more, but that's super subjective. Anyway, I'm not gonna interrupt the flow. Let's hear the drop. No. Yeah. Super nice riff with a ton of interesting sound design. Oh. I love that switch up. Kind of a break-like section. I kind of like the variations you have in like how stereo each sound is. But I think everything overall should be a bit more stereo, so it sounds a bit fuller overall. I think the kick could be a bit louder. slightly more side chainy. I felt like the transition from this kind of break with a bit of riser tension into that second kind of drop was kind of weird. I think more tension could have been built up, you know, and have a bit more silence to really have that anticipation on lock. I feel like the riffs in this kind of second section aren't as solid as the first. You know, and that plus the kind of like the lack of tension and anticipation there. The overall kind of slap a little less than the first drop, but it still goes in. Whoops. The outro gets the job done. Might want a bit longer mix out just for the sake of the DJs that want to play the bangers. No, I really dig the sound design on this. Love those painting. Whatever you want to call that. I think overall, like a lot of the mid basses could be more stereo, you know, to really fill it out. And yeah, that's that. Also, I think some kind of like multi-band compressions on the master would make this really sound shined up. Some type of stuff in that vein, right? But yeah, really, really good arrangement. Outstanding sound design. I dig it. But follow the boy Cywonk if you fuck with the kind of breaky, tipper-esque stuff, because he for sure nailed it. Going in with the sound design. Might add a vocal. Up to you. Up to you. Because you could use a vocal, but you don't need it. You don't need anything. There are no rules, alright? Don't even listen to me. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Okay. Grey Magic bootleg. From the dude who's sounds way too professional to have 79 followers. Yeah. Well, actually, I don't... Yeah, I prefer if it wasn't a Spotify link, because, I don't know, I might have to, like, log in and do a bunch of stuff to play it. Let me run this back. Good mixing. I'm hearing, like... I'm hearing the kind of, like... YouTube acapella type of like washiness, like low quality on the acapella, you know. It almost sounds like it's like boosted in like the kind of mid-ish high area. You might just want to like EQ the vocal a bit to get it that cleaner sound, and a bit of reverb type echo stuff on the vocal. You don't need it, but it would help cover up some kind of like the messiness of like the riff acapella. Also, the clap is way too quiet. That, like, I can barely hear the clap, which is super important to that groove. The kick is in pretty good position, I would say, with that clap. Good build. That glass sound effect or whatever was kind of loud, both in reality and on the waveform, as you could tell. Let's hear the drop down. Yeah. Nice. I think you can bring up the loudness and width on your sustained bass. Also, I think it could just be like colored a bit more. Dial in the drums first, then I would get that sustained bass like a bit more colored to kind of match the whomps and a bit louder as well. Always OTT. I feel like I should be hearing some type of like kind of riser here, building up tension, giving it some movement. This works too. Definitely get the drum on lock, that'll bring it up. Those fills, you really gotta EQ them. Those are super harsh in the ears and pretty loud. This sustained basses definitely could use some kind of OTT and kind of wider. Sustained basses especially. Like, you hear what I mean in terms of the color? They just sound kind of flat. Yeah. Yeah. Solid track. Great call and response, great grooves. It's just the mix, I think, that needs the most work. The arrangement's good too. Yeah, man. Get the drums on lock, keep that bass nice and fat. Watch those kind of harsh highs and like the jumps in volume. But yeah, besides that, solid track. Flesh it out, go crazy. Yeah, give the boy a follow. Vagabond Daydream. If you dig the bootleg. Alright. Submit it as a whip. Here's a final version. Let's hear it. Awesome atmosphere. Cool sounds. Cool tension being built with some crazy sounds. Oh. I really like how that fill brought into the drop. It's foolish. I think your mids and highs could overall be a bit louder. Maybe that bass especially. See, I kind of like that section, but one could argue that you gotta like drop that groove and tension. I like. Sidechain is also kind of massive. Maybe too big, but it could be a musical decision. Also, I think the snare, oh yeah, I should have. The snare definitely could be a bit brighter, a bit more high end, right? More noise or whatever. But also I think it'd be louder in the mix. Maybe a bit of transient enhancing with the drum bus as well. But yeah, dig the drop, dig these crazy instrumental type of breaks. Solid track. Crazy. You actually made a 2-minute track. It's over 1 minute. So I'm very proud of you for that. I know it can be hard, but it's a second drop. Yeah, I mean, I dig it. I definitely think I think the sub is and the sidechain is kind of eating up a lot of the clarity you can get out of the drop. But beyond that, you're pretty solid. Definitely Chubby Penguin waddling through molasses type beat. I knew that much, right? Anyway, give the boy Faceman Beats a follow because I said so, and the homies do that. This is your attempt to submit something early. Alright, it didn't work. I'm moving to the next guy. No, I'm kidding. I just fail to see how you can attempt. You just do. You just do it or you don't. A bit of harsh frequencies in this, I'm feeling. Be sure to sweep through with a bit of that EQ. The key on both these elements sounds a bit weird. Also, I'll maybe like to hear a bit of kind of filtering or more like movement on this main kind of lead. Because there's not a whole lot of movement or like interest going on with it beyond the initial thing. You know, especially over time. Just sounds kind of like... And because of the way it is, it just sounds like kind of like indistinct. I don't know. Just the way it is. There's just a lack of dynamics in that sound. Also, I feel like you kind of took it out. Took it out kind of suddenly. I would like to hear maybe like echo reverb out. Also, this kind of chord. It's giving me very much just like preset vibes. Cool percussion though.
Yeah.
Drop is fucking though. Crazy with the sub work and the sound line. Give that a smile. Yeah. Yeah, I really dig this drop though. Groove is super. Groove is just super. Yeah, it might be a little loud. snare could maybe be a bit louder. Yeah, I mean the drop is solid, and I'm digging the slight variations you have in here. Beyond that, like I think the main groove is hard enough, so you don't need a ton of it. Not sure if I like the kick. It might be a better option for the kick sample, but it's not the worst kick I've heard. In fact, it's I think the intro though definitely needs work, and how you transition into the drop and how you build tension, because that could set a theme better and add more tension to make the drop hit harder. Yeah. And I'm not quite sure if this kind of chord really fits the type of key or the type of vibe, for that matter, of the drop and whatnot. It just sounds like a very simple, happy, preset chord progression, right? Then you have all these sound effects that are kind of spooky. But I don't feel like it like contrasts very well either in a way. It might be cool to like have some type of fill things, but I don't think it needs it. The beat just goes stupid. There's interesting breaks. And mix sounds pretty good too. Arrangement nice. I would have liked at least some type of fill or tension or indication that something about to happen with the beat switch. Otherwise, it just sounds kind of wedged in there. You could add more variation, but I think the groove goes pretty nicely already. Also, I feel like this kind of like house or four on the floor beat might be a bit weird to like mix out or whatever. Actually, no. I mean, it should be fine. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah. But that's that. As always, you can head back in the stream. You could view the stream later if you want to deeply analyze your feedback, which I'm sure every last one of you really want to do, right? But let's hear Schlop spiraling. All right, off to a great start using the Bunting sample. I like this pad and all those sound effects. Some of them coming kind of abrasively, like that. I think I'd use some more kind of low pass filtering.
Get a hold of yourself.
I feel like you might have submitted this last week. I don't know. Not complaining. Definitely deep dub vibes. more thump, less of a transient. Tweaks implemented. Then how was it posted 1 month ago? It was tweaked. I don't know how this works. Man, I like that you have kind of riffs with variations on them, and that's that.
Get a hold of yourself.
2 sub-bassy slappers in a row. I said it's 12:08 a.m. EST. I feel like that pad could kind of match the note of your drop a bit closer. Despite me loving the sound design on it. Another thing, I feel like you can have some type of more things going on beyond your bass and drums. I mean, yes, bass and drums, but I'm thinking like some kind of atmosphered out percussion samples, you know, just like W type of stuff. Not necessary, but I think it could be cool and create more interest and depth. Yeah. I mean, it's solid. I dig the pitch bendy bass. I think some also like sparingly used kind of reverb and echo on the snare and or could be cool. Yeah, that could be cool. I assure you. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say because I mean the track is solid, I think. You could have kind of a break in the middle, you know, for like a second type of drop or build or whatever. But I think with the dubby vibe, a lot of time it isn't necessary. You're not good enough at guitar, and you're kind of good. All right, submit the bluegrass track. We gotta hear it. Yeah, I just can't think of much to say. The sub bass has melted me. But yeah. Unless I can think of something at the last moment. Also, one thing I could have said is that the white noise here, I think you could add something like a little more interesting sound effect kind of transition into the drop beyond just the white noise. Like when the more in the arrangement.
Get a hold of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's solid. Give the boy a follow. Definitely can tell what that is. Cool sounds. Sounds kind of slammed. Sounding pretty slammed. Like the drums, I felt like I was expecting that build up to be twice as long. I feel like it's a weird uneven amount of bars long, like 6 bars instead of like 4 or 8. Sorry, Craft Tank. Oh, I see it. dig that for the sound design. Yeah, I really dig your sound design and flows here. Sub bass maybe sounds a bit too loud too. Ooh, I really dig that. That's it. Blizzard invented rhythm. You could have had this drop beat twice as long. You know, we already spent a minute waiting for the banger part, right? And then you're just gonna take it away from us. Frankly, I don't know if I could forgive you for that. I dig whatever samples or sound design you have going on here. I think the intro is too slammed, you know? I like a slam drop sometimes, but when the intro is slammed, I don't know, it just doesn't sound right to me. You know, and the other thing is I feel like your kind of type sound is a bit too loud. I don't even know.
I'm about to drop the hammer.
Sound design crazy. Really like your kind of cone response arrangements too, and all your flows. Yeah, you killed this one, man.
Where does it hurt?
Maybe a slightly longer kind of mix out with a bit of an echo. Where does it hurt? Yeah. My only real quip. Maybe a bit louder kick. The kick just doesn't quite sound as loud as the clap, right? And also, I think the intro is a little bit too slammed. You can also, I've done this, is that like I change kind of my mastering or processing from the intro to the drop. Just so I have that drop pop in, but the intro has a bit of space to breathe. Yeah, you killed it. Also, the build-ups, I think they could be a bit more finessed, whatever that means, right? I don't know. I think they could be not more subtle, but just better executed, you know, beyond just kind of like a kick and a riser sample. You know, I think you could build up a lot more tension, make it like ridiculously intense to match your drop, you know. The intro's already super intense. I think the build-up gotta match it. That's that. Oh yeah, let me shout you out, because you deserve it after such a heater. Give him a follow. The Vampy Wikis. Alright, you're gonna get in trouble for that name. They're gonna find you. The vampires from the weekend. The Weeknd's vampires, he owns them. Alright. Rosie 8. Let's go. These chords sound kind of mid-heavy. I feel like you can kind of scoop the mids, boost the highs. If I had a chord type thing like this, I'd probably do that. Also, I think the chord progression is a bit weird. I mean, maybe not the chord progression, but kind of the way you voiced it. You know, I don't know. Maybe have like your perks kind of low passing in for this little intro. Cool. Cool yo sample. Feel like you can have like one more element building up here, something. Definitely scoop mids, boost highs. Also, generally you just have so much high-end space that isn't really being used. Which, why not? It's there to use. Sub bass might also be a bit too loud. Relatively speaking. I think you can have a bit more sidechain too. Sidechain is especially important in the housey type stuff. I feel like that third chord especially, it kind of hits weird. Maybe voice it differently or just check the exact chord you're hitting. Another thing is, I don't know if you need such like a dubsteppy build up for a more housey type track, you know. Yeah, maybe make it a bit more subtle. House style. Drum again a bit quiet, not sidechaining enough, methinks. I like the dog. I like him. And you could have this drop basically twice as long, or some type of instrumental outro, or some type of instrumental outro for the mix out, rather than just a quick little thing. Yeah. Overall, scoop mids, boost highs. Sound design kind of crazy, but it's kind of quiet and kind of muddy to be distinct, you know. Again, watch the mids, watch the overall volumes. So I'll give that a thumbs up. Slop liked it, but yeah. Henny Mix 6. All right, if I recall correctly, he said this was a track he submitted before, but it's further polished with the sounds, with the vocals, with the sounds. Now, I dig the housey vibe. I just think like the kind of, just like the position you're hitting the chords, especially. Well, both the voicing the chords, but also like where on the pitch spectrum you're hitting them, and kind of lead to them being muddy, you know. Like sometimes I even like change the key of my track if I want some chords hitting in the mid range, just so it's not like hitting those kind of muddy frequencies, you know. But beyond that, like I dig the vibe. Definitely got the vibes unlocked. I really like this crazy split jug. I think your drums could be a bit tighter with kind of your basses and or chords for this drop. Bit too spacey. That the pre-drop vocal in Blurred Vision, that's literally like ripped from like a Virtual Riot track. And I had like a pre-drop vocal pack just from somewhere from Reddit from literally like years ago. I still have for whatever reason. But yeah. Also the high end, there's definitely a lot of high end content that can be filled up. You can add a little sparkly arpeggio, sparkly melody, sparkly anything. Whatever you want, man. Always watch the mids. Accentuate the highs. It's a rule of life. Give rest a follow now. Henny Mix 6, let's go. Skip yours. Skip yours for one. I mean, resubmit it when you're ready. Yeah, I mean, I'll skip it per your request. I think I won't give any feedback because you want me to skip it. Do you want me to review it after this track then? Also, Dom, new submitter. Digging the vibe thus far. Intro. Cool pad. I think your pad could have a bit more movement already, you know, filtering, some type of modulation going on beyond just a straight pad, you know, volume as well. All our options, chord progression. I like your little plucks you have going though. I really think some filtering could add a lot of finesse to this. Also, I think every time your chord restarts, that kind of little bit of attack kind of like makes it not so seamless. I don't know, just be mindful of that. Kick louder, more side chainy. Cool pitch drop. It sounds like you're having like some type of mid lead, you know, which I don't know. I feel like you can use instead of mid lead, maybe drop it lower, make it kind of a bass. Will kind of add to that impact, you know, for that kind of epic feel. I like your vocal chops there too. Definitely some more movement than just the straight kind of saw chords though. Maybe a bit of reverb. Like literally just like low pass modulation and reverb would make this sound like 10 times more high fidelity. And also some like breaks slash fills in the arrangement, so it just doesn't sound like, you know, just like a wall sound. You know, wall sounds is good, but if you're going for the wall sound vibe, more reverb basically. I think you could also have some type of reverb, not reverb, like riser kind of layered. Also, there's plenty of room for you to have some type of like lead doing its own thing. Or like arpeggio or top melody, stuff like that. See, I do like the trancey vibe, but I don't want it to just sound like they're just like straight chords hitting, not doing a whole lot, you know, repeating a lot. You can also change up kind of the harmony, you know, from like make this section kind of like a bridge section, and then bring in the more epic style progression. Also, I feel like your tom is kind of arranged weird. Boom. Boom, boom. Make it a full fill. I think some, beyond like the reverb and release, you can also have some type of echo, high pass filter, washout effect to make that a bit more spacious and cool for that last kind of hit. Definitely gives me intro vibes. I dig it. Definitely a bit more modulation overall though. A bit more movement, a bit more finesse. You know the deal. Follow Dom. Now, right? And up next, the dude who constantly kills it with the trippy down-tempo-y beats, Wetlands Whip, Flood. Let's go. I like that too, like the whatever that is. Okay. Cool ARP, cool moist sound effects. Cool kind of reverbed out stuff. Be careful with your sound effects being louder than your main melodic content. You know, because sound effects, I mean, in my opinion, I just think they should be more background. Not background, but I think it's important that the melodic elements are easy to follow and have the most presence. So yeah, I'm feeling a bit of subtle tension coming up with this, which I'm liking. I feel like I'm expecting a bit of a bass hit when that thing came in with the drums. I felt like you built up too much tension to justify not dropping the bass on these goons. Let's go. Yeah, I still feel like I was expecting a bit more than kind of the a bit more opening up, like the sub bass or whatever, or something else in the arrangement beyond just the drums, you know. For when all that tension built up. Awesome sound design though. I know that much. I'm hearing a bit of clicks, which I'm not sure if it's intentional. If it isn't intentional, just watch the add a bit more attack and release to your sounds. I feel like you could have had some type of like fill, or I don't want to say pre-drop to make it think it's like gotta be a heavy drop. You know, some type of pre-drop or fill, something to really bring it into that. Where that sub bass knocks in. Again, with the kind of melodic elements being more front than the sound effects. Like I'm hearing that barrel down. Should be way more up front. Something like that. Yeah. Another thing is I'm not hearing a whole lot of, I mean, like God forbid, no mid-range, you know how much I love the mid-range in songs, right? But I feel like there's a lot of mid-range that could be utilized more. You know, definitely a lot of high-end stuff, without a doubt. Because that could go a long way for making it sound fuller and even more atmospheric. Yeah, I mean, I dig the track, sound effects crazy, arrangement's cool. A bit more nuance and a bit more direction and clarity and like kind of that tension part, especially in my humble opinion. Yeah, but as always, you kill the down tempo vibes. And Kitty Cartel, thank you for the $5. I appreciate it. You mean the world to me. You make it all possible. And I will keep it up just because you sent a little animated sticker. Alright. But Second Nature Beats is up next. Just let me know when you want me to review your track, because You said not to review it, but I'm itching to hear it. I'm getting so itchy. That's a great pair right there. I'm not following him for some reason. We good now? Okay, I'll review your track after this. Yes, sir. Yo way. Damn. I don't think your sub is mono, which is super important. So make sure you have like the bass mono preset on your master, or bass mono utility type thing. Also, track is generally super quiet. You can bring it up hella without it, even getting close to touching a limiter or clipper. The sound design, foolish though, and the flows. Not sure if I dig the sound design on the lead though, as much as the rest. Also, I think generally your sub is a bit loud compared to your mids and highs. I think your drums are tight. I like that snare. Super teeny tiny hats. I feel like throughout the second half of the drop, you could have had like, I don't know, something a bit more adding come in. I don't know about variation, but I'm thinking more like a further development. Something further. This is cool. Cover art. That's that. Yeah. The sound design and flow. Going stupid. I really like that. I feel like that vocal could be a bit more washed out. Yeah. I don't have a whole lot to say. Main thing, get that sub a bit quieter, mids and highs a bit louder. Make sure the sub's mono. And just overall bring all the volumes up. You have so much space to make it louder. Like I said, without even getting close to touching a limiter or a clipper. Love that guitar. I feel like you might have went a little overboard with that auto pan effect. I think I like it on some elements, but to me it sounds a bit weird on that guitar and that piano type stuff. Both like the mono auto pan with the volume, but also just that stereo auto pan. Just a bit funky to me. And I don't know if you need an outro this long, because you are kind of repeating at this point, you know, like that main, whatever loop you made. You know, and if you have like a volume fade this long, a lot of time you can just like leave it to the DJ. But that's subjective, you know the deal. I just feel like it doesn't need to be as long. Yeah. You killed this one. Really bring up the loudness, that'll make it compete quite excellently with all the other bangers pushed down on the daily. I'm not saying you gotta slam it, but gotta do a little something something. Whatever that means to you. Right? But anyway, I'm going back to the boy, Kitty Cartel, because for whatever reason he told me to wait. And wait I did. But now it is time to hear the Henny Mix 6. chilling hard at the same time. It's definitely, those are definitely appropriate adjectives for this. I know that much. I feel like the sine waves. Wait, let me just turn my volume down and see if it sounds the same. Watch the sine waves going into like a clipper or limiter. I feel like they're slightly being squashed a bit.
Can you slow down? I'm moving too fast. Sorry if I kick up the dust when I'm past. Someone said if you ain't first, then you last.
Did you sample this or like
between all the fear and the mall, my mind rots. Hard when all the ghosts and the baddies in my thoughts. I've been searching for
and the way you layered them are excellent. I think overall they could be slightly louder. Also, I think like multiband compression or like a small amount, literally amount, like the amount of OTT can go miles for like making vocals pop. Also, that not only on the vocal channel but on the master makes vocals pop a lot of the time. Chat disconnected. I don't know what happened. Run that back. Super subtle with it. Slay on the drop. I love that you incorporated those kind of poppy hip-hop inspired vocals quite seamlessly. That's nice. And then right into the bridge, super smooth. I love those stereo percussions. Yeah. I love how that came See, here's one kind of weird take you might consider. I feel like a lot of time your bass is like playing in the pocket, you know, laying down a groove. But I feel like I'm wanting it to like really lay down some dankness. You know what I mean? Whatever the fuck that means. Basically like to stop grooving around and really just like lay down on the beat, super heavy, you know. Just at least for one little part, you know what I mean? You see, because it's like playing around, but then one part just goes, or something a bit more on the grid, less kind of playing around the beat and groovy. Because when you really like lay it down like that, it has a huge impact. I just think that could be killer if you kind of get what I mean. But beyond that, that's just one creative decision to be made. Super subjective, because I think you already killed that, and the track is already quite beautiful and solid. Vocals are awesome though, and fit the track really well. Just awesome hearing these kind of vocals interweave so cleanly with the bass. Yeah, I was thinking about build up with more tension, but I think you kind of did it subtly in a nice way, you know, but, you know, more tension can be better a lot of the time. but it's up to you. You know what you're doing. Be mindful. Make bangers, right? Yeah. You really like transform this track in an awesome way, I would think. Right, but give Kitty Cartel a follow because he slew the beat. And his friend Vummer is how it's pronounced because I said so, also slew the beat, right? Okay, on to our next gentleman, Maxim Gnetum with Don Jamal. Give you a follow because I follow every homie, and you should too. Maybe in a bit. I get a few tracks under my belt right now. I'm trying to finish up, but in the future, I will let you know on the little collaboration. Right. For right now, I will be right back for just a second. A little break before I get into this next track. All right. Okay, hello. Thanks for sticking around. I have a shirt on, and I also have Joe. Yeah. Full disclosure, I don't hate Rhythm. I dig this artwork though. But let's go.
God,
Say hi to Joe, everyone.
I'm very tired of freaking always making house music.
That's facts. We all relate.
You know, there's always time to experiment and try new things. And I mean, I'm not against
more riser.
There's no way at all.
More riser, a bit more stuff going on beyond the
Kinda like that.
kinda stupid. Sub bass way too loud though.
I guess we can make
Less sub, less mid, more highest.
deep.
And yeah, this is kinda crazy. I love like the deepish kind of rhythmy vibes.
Spaghetti.
I think the second half of the drop doesn't go in as hard. Not a whole lot, not as many mids going on.
God, I hate rhythm.
Also a bit more sidechain on the kick and just a bit more
Hey,
snare.
let 'em. God, actually experiment
And I think like a tiny bit of OTT on the vocal can make it pop out of it
and try new things.
and make it clearer and more high fidelity.
Spaghetti.
You can also have a little break in there, you know. Joe's giving me licks because he likes me so much. He licks me, he grooms me. The levels on the mix are compensated by the stereo space the highs have in a way. Yeah. Yeah. And
No way at all.
crazy pre-drop. Also, what's in? Look at Joe. Look at Joe now. Yeah. I mean, beyond that, like, you kill the track, maybe have a little break into like another drop instead of like one long drop, because like ironically having a really long drop can kind of like dissipate some of the energy versus like having a dedicated break into another tension section. I definitely heard a bit of spaghetti in there as well. Yeah, but this is super unique and kind of stupid, so I approve. Give more or more Maxim a follow. And if I had Don Jamal's SoundCloud, you would also follow him, I'm sure. Spaghetti. Okay, Gnetum, whatever that means. Some play on rhythm. I don't know what else. What other word is incorporated into there. But yeah. Okay. I'm gonna call it off here. No more submissions for tonight. Just because we haven't had a submission in a minute, and I eventually want to chill by my lonesome. Okay. Let's go back. Maui Hayes. Let's go. See the little rat.
But you see me gawking at you and know who I'm stalking. Got brains like Stephen Hawking, make a dash with the cash. Then I put you on your ass, keep my finger on the trigger. This blood is
Cool vocals.
keep it sharp like a steak.
Damn.
Take a step back, watch you sit back, on the flat.
Appreciate the submission.
Drop it.
Great build, I must say.
Sharp like a steak.
Kill it.
Damn. I think you need more mids on that though. More midi layer.
Back at him.
Also, I think the fucking rat on my shoulder, it's crawling in my hair. No, I think the brass sample you use, it doesn't quite go hard enough. You know, just like when you need it or whatever. Also, I think like for the second half of the drop, you can change the timbre of the sustained bass.
I put you on your ass, keep my finger on the trigger. This blood is getting thicker, keep it sharp like a steak.
Yeah. Yeah. Intro build is good. Also, I think the sub is kind of quiet. Make sure you have a dedicated sub. Same sub level. I dig that. That's kind of foolish. Yeah, and definitely change the timbre for the second half of the drop. And overall, more mids in that sustained bass, so it really slays the crowd, right? But yeah, I dig that track. Awesome stuff. Give Maui Hayes a follow right now. Okay? Knife. Ant-Man the Wizard. Perfect. The next guy. Next homie. Ganja Mix 1. New submitter. Have not followed. Dig the cover art. Look at the rat. Look at the rat in the bottom left of the screen. Look at the rat. I think your kind of vocal is way too loud. Like your little like quirky vocal, like talking and background noises. Way too loud compared to the instrumental. Also the ganja might be a bit too loud as well. Bass could be louder. Drums could be louder. Drums could be much louder. Yeah, all the vocals are definitely way too loud. I want to hear a bit more of the instrumental. Bars, spit bars. Also, you might not want your vocals so like blatantly wet, you know, just like reverb.
Wearing that sundress, looking so right. I think I saw you.
You know, I think your main kind of spoken word rap type of line or whatever might be better off dry without too much reverb. It just sounds like you're talking in a cave.
And that's got
I want to hear more of that instrumental. Let's bring up those levels. And at this point, you could probably have another like spoken word section, or whatever. Have it further develop after the little break. You can also have it transition out, which is what you're doing. Vibey. Definitely watch the processing on your vocals as well as just the level on them. I think that's the biggest theme of that track. Beyond that, the arrangement and the instrumental is groovy. It's that bluegrass submission. It is. Follow J-Band, the band. Also known as Ant-Man the Wizard, right? Go by many names. Cat. Alright. Lamp. Lamp number 4761. A bit interesting. Cool break, cool vocal. Follow Joe Rattler. I think you definitely have more going on because it's basically been the same break with the vocal for about 30 seconds. He's giving me a lick. Thanks, Joe. You see him? I mean, you definitely want to have more development and like there's more elements adding in beyond like kind of sound effects. And because it's almost a minute in the song and not a whole lot has happened musically beyond the same kind of line. With the link work here, you got to submit it in the Discord. Read the description and the pin up top. Links don't work in YouTube chat. Also, I think generally in the first section, you can have more than just the drums and the vocal. You can have the bass, you can have counter melody, you can have anything. Also, the transition into this dude talking is a bit weird. I think there could be a bit more fill, riser, transition sounds, whatever. All in the description and the pen, all the links. Also, I said I was stopping submissions for tonight in the Discord, so I'll catch you next week. But be sure hop in the Discord and hang out. Also, I feel like I just hear you straight up like automating the volume, which is fine, but I think it's a little obvious what you're doing, right? And also, I think it's better suited a lot of the time to just decrease the volume of the intro right before the drop for the impact rather than straight up like increasing the drop volume. Also, the snare is a little dubsteppy for drum and bass, in my opinion. His tail is curled on my face. Get your tail out of my face. Yeah. I'm feeling like I feel like there's not enough like call and response action. Like I'm expecting like wow 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 and then wow 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 like something a bit more responding, you know, with a bit more presence and girth. And girth, presence and girth are the themes for this track. What else? Just continuing the track. I can't think of much more to say. The drums sound fine, the sub sounds fine. I just think there needs to be like more flow in the arrangement of basses. And definitely more interest in the intro, a smoother transition, and more attention for the build. See, I'm hearing a bit more like call and response here. But like right here, like it's just silent, you know, like you gotta hear something. And also like the second drop is a bit similar to the first, in my opinion. See, look, and you choose to use a riser here to transition it out, but you did not want a riser in the other sections, which could have added to the tension and the impact of the drop. See, look, I just feel like so many sections in your drop are just kind of sparse and like the flow is interrupted. You know, it just feels like every once in a while, like, all right, something's happening. And it's just kind of chilling. You know, and if you're considering like your, like that kind of sound, like your response, I feel like it's a bit too quiet and not processed enough. It just sounds more like a sound effect. You just gotta follow the DMB tutorial. Also, this kick is not a great kick in my opinion. It just sounds like a sub hitting. Boom. Also, this mix out's a little long. I just don't think it needs to be so long. But yeah, I definitely think the basses need more interaction and like more flow. And the intro needs a bit more interest overall. The mixdown doesn't sound bad though, and the structure is pretty good. I'll give you that. I'll give you that much. And I do dig some of the sound design. I just think more interaction. The snare isn't terrible. Well, neither the kick or the snare are terrible, but I would just like a bit better. You gotta use the Bunting samples, all right? You need to use the Bunting samples. Okay, I'm back on. I don't know what happened. Why the Wi-Fi decided to have a bad time. DMT and my Applejack's whip. Bunting taught me everything I know. Me too. Bunting also taught me everything I know. So we're alike in that sense. I love this sample. Oh, trappy drums. I think they're a little loud compared to the sample. Okay. I would have liked maybe a bit more sample manipulation and fucking with to like really show like the change of tone, like what's about to go down. No problem. The sound design and flow on this drop is slapping though. Yeah, Spotify isn't working. Like, drop your thing in SoundCloud and I'll review it. The sub sounds a bit loud to me. The snares are a bit weird. I dig like the changing the snare vibe, but I think both the snares could have a bit more transient, definitely. And also you want to make sure like they're hitting about the same besides the tone, right? I like that snare a lot more than the previous, the other snares. Not enough loves. True. Good. I would have also liked to hear maybe the kind of sample worked into the drop a bit. Alright, this part's getting a little clunky with it. Also that bass, that one bass is kind of lacking some color. Also, I think it's kind of weird to be having that fill hit at the same time as the snare. You know what I mean? Because like a drummer wouldn't do that, you know, and you don't hear that in a lot of songs. It just sounds out of place. You have the snare hit and the fill hit. I dig the fucking with of the sample at the end. Right? But I think I really would have liked to hear like a bit more bass teasing, like in the build-up, maybe a bit more build-up as well, and a bit more sample fuckery just to like show like, just to kind of transition that contrast and like, you know, show it more overall, you know what I mean? Just to kind of get that weird like vibe, like, oh shit's going down, the pretty sample is being contrasted, you know, through some messing with in some fashion, if you feel me, right? But if you're digging it, you know what I mean, like frequency shifting around, chopping it up, going crazy with it, and incorporating it into the build-up, more direct way. Thank you, Joss Space, for the kind words and the banger. My boy Temp Treasure, resubmit the track if you want me to check it out. Spotify, not having a good time for me. Also, which one do you want me to review? Okay, I'll review one of them. Digging the artwork. I'll check you out. Can I? Okay. Ravage from the boy Rice and Fries. A shower type beat. I dig that guitar in the beginning with the kind of pads. This guitar, it kind of sounds just like a MIDI guitar to me, and the reverb on it is a bit weird. Another thing is I feel like your pad kind of dropped out, that much transition. Yeah, put it through granulator, that'll do it. Also, another thing, I feel like you should distinctly have like, alright, this is kind of the pad background elements and this is the lead, more distinct in your mix, you know? Like, you want that lead a little louder than the rest of your stuff, I think. Like, you had your kind of build up, but it didn't. I'm feeling like it just went into another build up, you know, which I feel like if you're gonna like wanna like fake people out like that, I feel like the arrangement should make it super obvious as to what's going on. Also drums, I'm not sure if that's a kick or like some type of like orchestral drum sample. Okay, I get the impression that was the drop, but that wasn't made very clear to me. If you want it to be the kind of drop thing, I feel like you need a kind of stronger kick and snare, like a stronger beat. You know, because the beat you have going or the drums you have going right there are giving me more like, you know, like tense kind of build up type vibes, you know? Unless you're just like really dragging out the build up, right? But then it goes into a break, and at that point I feel like the tension's kind of wasted, you know what I mean? Excellent guitar. I'm really digging that. Just make sure you're very deliberate with the sound you put up front. Right? Because beyond just like getting everything heard, I could definitely hear everything, but some things you want to hear more, you want to be more present. sun. Also, I feel like there's a lack of kind of sub bass in here. Well, like sub bass, but just like bass frequencies in general. And I feel like you can get more like direction and power and just like, yeah, power to the arrangement and the piece just through some more kind of bass introduced at certain points. I know this isn't bass music, but still, some bass is a tool that should be utilized in any context. Yeah, and just your drum arrangement, especially in that kind of drop-like section, right? I felt like it's kind of weird because it was giving me more like tense. It was a tense drum arrangement, you know. It wasn't really like laying it down on the beats with like a kick and a snare, you know, which is more suited to a kind of build-up. I feel, which is why I thought it was a continuation of the build-up. You know what I mean? I think that's the biggest thing that made it funky. But beyond that, like your arrangement's nice. Another thing is I feel like your guitar should definitely be the most prominent element because it's the most interesting and has the most going on. You know, the vocal, I feel, the vocal chop is a bit dry, and I feel like it's more suited to the background since it's kind of like outlining the harmony rather than providing a really strong melody. I like how you subtly had that tension going though. And your use of samples, it was made for a dramatic build of tension, solid arrangement. Solid stuff, and I dig the art. You know the deal. I'm only doing one per dude, but I'll catch that next week if you want to tune in or submit it. Of course, thanks for the banger submission, as always. I'm happy to provide my perspective on the beats and bangers. Okay. But anyway, waves times 18 hands. They're multiplied. Hashtag great. I like this. Legacy. Flip over. No. That's the flock flip, which I have not commenced yet, but this is just feedback on any track. Bam. Run that back. Cool sounds. Cool legacy sounds. Drum groove, drum foolish as always. Cool build of tension. That's foolish. And as always, if you do to the instrumental kind of break intro
Back up your.
One thing I feel like, I just felt like this drop was the strongest, right? Because I think the groove was the most consistent. You know, you emphasize the riff over the sound design, you know, which I think is, I don't know, more important in a sense, you know? This definitely has a riff and sound design going, but another thing beyond that, I mean, I'm all riff guy, right? But beyond that, I feel like your main bass kind of had like fatter mids, you know, which I think is super important. So, having a slappy track. You know, which one is it? Do I hate mids or do I like mids? I like this like nutcracker beat. These mallets. No. Solid outro. Yeah, I like that washout effect. Not used enough, that washout effect, because it slaps. Also, jaw space, I don't want to be like a sellout and be like, alright, OG patrons, they get all the feedbacks they want, you know. But I will do it off stream if you want to DM me like that. You know, I don't want to be selecting favorites, you know what I mean. But DM me and I'll give you some feedback on the track. I just don't want to be weird about it. Wiz, new submitter. Hope you feel still got the rat. Not sure if I'm digging the reverb on the snare. Yeah, I definitely feel like you can have more introducing. You know, just more elements. You can have a pad, more rhythmic elements going on, more sound effects going on sooner. Yeah. I mean, you have a bit, but I think more could be welcome. The baby boy. And if I think overall, like the arrangement, if this is the drop, right, or if it's just like kind of an intro, I think it could be shorter, you know, if it's just the intro, you know, it'd be like about half as long and then bring it into this. You know, and or have a bit more like sub bass going on. See, overall, I think it'd be a lot more filled up, you know. Oftentimes, like a professional track, you don't see every little transient popping through. You know, it depends on the track. I think maybe you should EQ the reverb, you know, have a bit more just on the high end, maybe a bit less wet. Little rat. Okay, open. If you're gonna have that riser going and the drums building up as well, I think you should for sure have like the sub bass come in, and maybe that you know, pitch it down an octave for that impact, and have a bit more basses kind of flowing, you know. You know, that's an example of a bass you could add. sample my voice for that, alright? Royalty free. Just have another bass interacting, having a little bit of a conversation with that main wow wow. Because the sound design is slapping on that. I would love to hear it contrasted with another bassy friend. Joe would like to see that too. Do it for Joe. He curled his little tail around the mic wire, thus sabotaging the stream. What's so funny? Yeah, but like how you brought it down an octave. I think that octave type switch is better suited for once you build up that tension and anticipation for that trap. Halfway through, it's supposed to repeat. Where's the vocal? I want to hear it with the vocal. Also, I think your kick could be way louder, have more sidechain. Halfway through, it's basically a repeat. Yeah. But even if it's like with the vocal, a lot of times I do like to hear a bit more like kind of development break sections. You know what I mean? Just some variation, you know, contrast the main kind of chorus or whatever. But yeah. Well, yeah, if it has a vocal on it, that changes a lot. You know, maybe you wouldn't want such a, or like a lot of complexity, you know, or a lot of things filling up if it's gonna have a vocal on top of it, but I don't know because I don't hear the vocal. Feel free to drop it with the vocal and I should check it out later. I dig that squeaky sound design with the wow. Definitely want a bit more contrast both with another bass and just in the arrangement overall. And just more stuff filling it, you know, I think there's plenty you can add. Percussion, melodic, pad, harmonic, more basses, all sorts of stuff. And of course get the drums and sub knocking, because that's where it's at, you know. But yeah, that's it for the stream tonight. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys, because you make it all possible. You're the community. I'm in a privileged position to teach and inspire, you know the deal. And yeah, thanks for the banger submissions. Tune in next week around the same time, you know, and just submit your track and I'll review it. That's how it works. It's that simple. Right, be sure to hang out in the Discord because I'm going to start running some more community events for you fellas and for the sake of all to learn. You know the deal. Yeah. But that's that. Catch you next week. This stream, if you missed part of it and want to rewatch it, there's a live stream playlist in the description for you to just watch all the streams because I keep them unlisted, so you got to find that playlist. Banger submissions. That's that. You know, that's that. They're always bangers, right? Of course, it wouldn't be a Bunting stream if I don't shout myself out. For sure, DM me. buntingmusic.com. You can get samples that don't suck. You can get really good samples, so I'll never complain about the samples you use in your track again, right? And you can get a private lesson from me if you want to more fully realize, you know, your feedback, because that'd be awesome. And it all supports me directly. And also Patreon, you can get all the presets I make in my videos, on all the project files I make, and more goodies. You know, you just get everything. I personally come to your house, I shake your hand, you get to go out to lunch with me, I pay, and that's all Patreon benefits, right? I'll fly out to you. That's that. Yeah, DM tree, I see you. You've been lurking with that blank smile emoji. Alright, but yeah, I can't think of anything else to say. Thanks everyone for tuning in. You mean the world. Bless.